Lincoln Lancaster County Planning Commission of April 11th, 2018. A printed agenda is available outside the hearing room, and a copy of the full agenda, including the staff reports, is available at the front of the chambers with the clerk. The Open Meetings Act is posted just inside the doors at the back of the room. If you parked in the parking garage across the street to the north, the gate is open and no parking coupons are necessary. Out of courtesy for those attending this meeting, the commissioners and the staff, cellular phone usage is not permitted in these chambers during any portion of this meeting. We will appreciate your cooperation. Please note that there are no final action items before the Planning Commission today. The first item of business is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held March 28th, 2018. Is there a motion?
So moved, Beckius.
Second, Finnegan.
Call the roll.
Okay. Beckius?
Yes.
Edgerton?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Joy?
Yes.
Core?
Yes.
Shear.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
The next item of business is the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda will be called at the same time and will not be scheduled for a separate public hearing unless there is a request from someone wishing to speak or at the request of a commission member. I'll ask Jerry to read all of the consent agenda items into the record. Once those items are read, she will ask if there's anyone wishing to speak. If you wish to speak on an item on the consent agenda, we would ask that you stand and state that item. That item will then be removed from the consent agenda and scheduled as a separate public hearing under Section 3 of today's agenda. All items remaining on the consent agenda will be voted upon in total with a motion for approval. Jerry, will you please call the items of the consent agenda?
Yes, thank you. Item 1.1 is Comprehensive Plan Amendment number 18002 to amend the 2040 Lincoln Lancaster County Comprehensive Plan to add the Oak Creek, Lynn Creek, and North Salt Creek watershed master plans to the list of sub-area plans in the plan realization section of the comprehensive plan. Item 1.2a is text amendment number 18004 to amend section 27.63.810 of the Lincoln Municipal Code to allow a dwelling unit with a farm winery and repealing said section of the Lincoln Municipal Code as hitherto existing, and the associated special permit number 18010 to allow a farm winery on property generally located at 2361 Whitstruck Road. Item 1.3 is special permit number 9022C for an amendment to the same special permit and request a waiver to reduce the west side yard setback to 0 feet on property generally located at 3201 Yankee Hill Road. Are there any ex parte communications to be disclosed on these items?
I see none.
Is there anyone here wishing to speak on any of these consent agenda items? If so, please stand and state that item.
Okay, I don't see any. We entertain a motion?
Move approval, Beckius.
Second, Edgerton.
Please call the vote.
Okay, Beckius?
Yes.
Edgerton?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Joy?
Yes.
Core?
Yes.
Shear.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
There are no requests for deferral, so now we will proceed to public hearings. The staff will make a brief presentation. The applicant will then be requested to present his or her testimony, followed by those who wish to testify in support, followed by those who wish to testify in opposition. The staff will then be given an opportunity to respond to the testimony, and then the applicant shall have an opportunity for rebuttal. Each person testifying should state their name and address and shall have 5 minutes to speak unless additional time is requested and granted. The timer will go off after 4 minutes, then you will have 1 minute to wrap up your testimony. The Planning Commission will vote immediately at the close of the public hearing unless the Commission votes to defer action or continue the public hearing. Jerry, please call the first public hearing item.
Okay, there are two associated items. Item 4.1A is comprehensive plan conformance. Number 18008 to review as to conformance with the 2040 Lincoln Lancaster County Comprehensive Plan, a request to add a project to the fiscal years 2016-17 to 2021-22 capital improvement program to update citywide streetlights to LED through energy savings performance contract. And staff recommendation on this is conformance with the comprehensive plan. The associated text amendment is number 18005, amending the design standards, chapter 3.100 to allow other electrical contractors, in addition to Lincoln Electric System, to bid on design, installation, and maintenance of the city's streetlight system, and repealing section 6, chapter 3.100 as hitherto existing. Staff recommendation is for approval. Are there any ex parte communications to be disclosed on these agenda items?
See none. We are ready for testimony.
Good afternoon. I'm Kelly Van Bergen, Transportation Planner with the Planning Department. Yes, so both projects that we have forward today are related to each other. The comprehensive plan conformance, we're looking to add this as a new project to fiscal year 17-18 of the current CIP. And due to a lot of the text in the comprehensive plan, we are recommending that this project is in conformance with the comprehensive plan. On the text amendment, it's a proposed text amendment to chapter 3.100 of the city design standards to allow LES as well as other contractors to bid on the design, installation, and maintenance of these projects. This text amendment was done in conjunction with LES. They had an opportunity to review and provide comment, and those were taken into consideration when developing these. I will let John Carlson come up and give a presentation about these projects more in depth.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and fellow commissioners. I haven't timed my presentation, but I think it's a little more than 5 minutes, but less than 10 if that's okay. I also
I don't know about that.
Anything for you,
we need to
John?
vote on that. I also want to point out too that you'll notice in the actual design standard change, while maintenance is listed in the agenda, maintenance is the situation regarding maintenance doesn't change in the design standards. So this is only applicable to the actual installation of the fixtures for this particular contract. So we have a little typo in what we turned in. We apologize for that. This on? Maybe? See if that comes on. So again, I'm John Carlson. I'm with the Mayor's Office. I'm here today with Frank Ulark, who's our City Sustainability Administrator, with Brandon Kaufman, the City Finance Director, with Chris Conley, our Chief Assistant City Attorney, and with Mike Lang, who also works in the Mayor's Office. We've been part of a team that's been working on the streetlight conversion project to convert a balance of 27,000 streetlights in Lincoln to LED technology. We agree with the staff recommendation, obviously, of conformance with the comprehensive plan, and we request approval on the design standard. Both of these items will move forward to City Council. So we'll go right to the chase. Why LED? I'm sure most of you have LED bulbs or LED lighting in your house right now. You've been able to enjoy the benefits of the better light, of the reduced energy savings, of not having to change them out as often. We think it's time for Lincoln to be able to enjoy those benefits too. LED lighting, it increases safety, it reduces energy use, it's better for the environment. Those are the three main objectives that we're trying to satisfy. Again, all called out in the comprehensive plan in order to move Lincoln forward as a community. Got some evolving technology on the screen there for you, from the Edison bulb up to the compact fluorescent into the LED technology. We got the majority of what's out in the community right now are the older non-LED fixtures, metal halide, high pressure sodium vapor. I've learned way more about streetlight technology than I ever thought I would. But it's interesting, and Lincoln has done a good job historically of trying to take advantage of new technologies when they've been proven up in order to provide savings for the ratepayers, the taxpayers, and in order to provide those benefits that I mentioned. Let's talk about the increased safety. It's maybe a little bit small, but I think you can see pretty well the dramatic change between the high pressure sodium on the left and the LED on the right. High pressure sodium has the yellow light. The LED on the right has the whiter light, more visibility, better color accuracy, safer for drivers, pedestrians, bicyclists, anybody using the street or any of the transportation corridor or sidewalks along there. You notice also too that the LED fixture focuses more light down onto the road. With the LED technology and the diodes, you can focus that light down. If you look at the high pressure sodium with the golden globe that goes down, it sprays more light out. You get more glare into the eyes of the drivers. We also wanted to point out in this particular slide too, you can see that you've got LED in the forefront and you've got high pressure sodium in the background. And what we're advocating for is a comprehensive installation. We think that the phasing or the spot installation less desirable because you're going to move from the white light to the yellow light to the white light again. It's not as preferable. Reducing energy. I think everybody knows by now that LED lights can dramatically reduce energy use. If you look across the portfolio that's currently in Lincoln right now, an average high-pressure sodium vapor is going to draw about 312 watts of energy to produce its light. The LED is going to produce a better light with only 108 watts. So you're basically dropping it by nearly 2/3, you're getting a better light. Over the course of a year with 27,000 streetlights, you can see an annual energy saving of 10 million kilowatt hours. It's very significant, very dramatic. And most importantly, that represents an annual savings of nearly $375,000. So I'll invite you to remember that number. I'm going to cycle back to it in a few more slides when we start to show you all the savings compound. Similarly, with reduced maintenance, high-pressure sodium vapor arterial streetlight bulb, about 5 years, pretty good, seems pretty good, until you realize that we've got 27,000 of these older bulbs out there, which means every day we've got maintenance technicians out there changing bulbs in all of these fixtures. A lot of labor, a lot of time, potential safety just to be out there doing it. You know, in contrast, the LED, 25 years, dramatically longer. And the LED fixture in and of itself, too, comes as basically an integrated unit. So there's technically no bulbs in an LED unit. You just have the diodes, you have the circuit board. It all comes as one particular unit, so there is no bulb to change. Now, while there'll still be maintenance associated with it, if you think about it below the fixture, you've got the pole, you've got the wiring, you've got some things that support the fixture that'll have to still have continued maintenance. But you can virtually eliminate maintenance on the LED fixture itself. It works or it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work within the time frame, it's replaced in warranty. So again, you calculate those savings, that's an annual savings of over $495,000. Let's remember that number. Protecting the environment, obviously that dramatic reduced energy use is going to drop greenhouse gas use. Again, called for in the Lincoln Environmental Action Plan and the Comprehensive Plan too. This is a benefit for the community and the world at large. That just implementing this alone, about 4 million pounds of greenhouse gas emission drop. Throw out some fun equivalencies. Annually, 180,000 trees, 700,000 gallons of gas used, or 3,500 tons of coal. So not only do you get the safety benefits and the savings benefits, but you're doing a good thing for the environment as well. So what are we currently doing? So currently, as I said before, our streetlight inventory has a lot of these older HID type of category bulbs. We do have some LED that's in use right now. You probably noticed them. And that's because in 2016, we adopted a policy in Lincoln that we would change out to LED technology when the older fixtures fail. It's a good policy. I think that it's worked well for us. But what we're saying now with these demonstrated benefits, we're not sure why we'd continue on that. If you continue to replace them only as the older fixtures fail, we convert about 1,350 older fixtures every year to LED. There again, the industry average cost for the replacement LED, about $226.68 per fixture. That's a national average, not including labor. So we're budgeting annually about $300,000 every year to do this failure opportunity replacement over time. But do that math. If you do that math with 1,350 replacements every year and 27,000 streetlights, you can see we're on a 20-year pace to convert to LED. So it naturally begs the question, why would we wait 20 years? Why would we wait 20 years to increase the safety, to save the energy, reduce those maintenance costs, and protect the environment? We as a team are here to say that we know Lincoln can do better right now. So what's the plan? Rapid and comprehensive streetlight replacement. Convert those 27,000 fixtures to LED within a 12-month period. Again, that's a notion that's called out in the comprehensive plan. It talks for a total conversion of the system within some time frame. We think 12 months is achievable and doable. It also mentions energy saving performance contracts, or ESPCs, as a tool that ought to be looked at in order to achieve that. So there's a wide variety of the way that these can be used. But what we're looking at here in Lincoln with the streetlight project is the contractor comes in and does a technical energy audit, which they've actually already done. They look at our entire system, they look at the wattages, they look at the applicability, they make a recommendation of what the appropriate replacement fixtures would be, where they'd be installed, what the potential costs would be, and what the savings would be. So we have all these figures that I'm showing for you here today. What they offer within the contract, they guarantee. They guarantee design costs, procurement costs, construction costs, and commissioning costs. It's a complete package. You can equate it to basically a not-to-exceed number for construction. It goes in, that's the cost, they guarantee it won't exceed that. They can buy all those fixtures in bulk, which drives down the initial cost in the package that they put together. And those annual energy and maintenance savings that I mentioned before, they will guarantee in line with their analysis on their technical energy audit. We've got LED equivalents available for a majority of these existing streetlights. The Cobra heads, all the various top hats and things that you see around town have LED equivalents that we can replace out. I live in an older neighborhood, so a question I ask is, what do we do with ornamental lighting? Interestingly enough, there's a whole catalog of LED fixtures for ornamental lighting too. Most of them will be replaced with the matching LED fixture or an improved alternate that's basically the same. There's a few of them where we'll put an LED retrofit kit into the existing fixture, and a very, very few of them where we may actually go in and put an LED bulb into the existing fixture because it's an antique historical fixture and we want to value the fixture. How do we want to pay for it? So the CIP amendment that's in front of you right now puts in $12.5 million, plugs it in order to accomplish the project. That's a ceiling number. We're confident that the number is lower than that. The contract's actually still in negotiation, and that'll be in front of the City Council with the exact contract specifications. We think it will be lower than that. In an ESPC, a lot of times, not all the time, but oftentimes the contractor will come in and say, I've done the analysis, I know what the equipment upgrades you need are, I know what they cost, and I know what the savings are. And the contractor will actually offer to finance the package. And they'll say, we'll actually put in all the installation, we'll do all the contracting work, and you'll pay us back because we'll capture the energy savings and we'll capture the maintenance savings until we're paid back, and then the community can enjoy those savings. And that's appropriate in a lot of circumstances. In this circumstance, we think it's actually more appropriate for the city to just internally finance it. Nobody can get cheaper interest rates than we can on this kind of a project. And basically, we have city reserves right now that we could tap. Usually those reserves are invested in a long-term treasury, some kind of interest-bearing vehicle. What we'll do instead, we'll use them to pay for the project. We'll set up a repayment schedule based on the savings we're going to have. We'll pay ourselves an interest rate that we otherwise would have seen in those investments. We think that's the best way to handle that. So how does the payback work? It's probably pretty obvious, but I'll just kind of outline it here. So as we talked about before, currently in the budget, we're budgeting money for energy use, budgeting money for maintenance use, and we're budgeting money to do those 1,350 conversions every year. That's our baseline that you see here. When we see the savings, we're going to see an increment within all of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to budget as if we hadn't done the project. We're going to capture those increments, which now we go back to these numbers. If you add them all up, is about $1.2 million per year. On a $12 million project, slightly less, that's a 10.4-year simple payback. We think that's outstanding. If you remember before, you have a 25-year asset. We're going to be able to pay it off in 10 years. And after that 10 years, it's all gravy. In other words, the asset will continue to work for us, and the taxpayers, the ratepayers, will continue to enjoy those lower energy and maintenance costs for 15 plus years. The best part, though, is if we do the rapid conversion right now, we get to enjoy those benefits right now. Again, it begs the question, why would we continue over 20 years to do smaller installations over all that time when we can have our money right now, spend the money right now, do the comprehensive changeover, and use the money that we otherwise would have spent for the next 10 years to pay ourselves back? So again, the action that we're requesting from you today is the CIP amendment to amend the project end of the plan, so it's appropriated, and the accompanying design standard change that says that a contractor other than in addition to LES can perform the job as long as they're doing it to the approved specifications that are listed in the design standards. Increase safety, reduce energy use, better for the environment. We think it's a great project. We think it makes a lot of sense, and we're here to answer any questions if you have them.
Questions?
I just had one quick question. Sorry, Tracy, did you want to go? Okay. John, on the text amendment change, it speaks to LES having the ability to determine whether or not they're the best fit as the contractor or if they'll farm it out to another contractor.
Right.
And I can see the application in this specific project, but are there other applications that LES may determine to use going forward in terms of, not specifically with this project, but bringing in outside contractors to do work that had traditionally been LES, under the LES hood, if you will?
I'm going to have Chris answer part of that question too. I know right now that LES, like other city departments on big projects, they will typically actually contract out to the private sector because it's a capacity issue. They don't need to keep all those people on all the time. They bring them in for big projects. But Chris, maybe you have an answer.
Chris Connolly, Chief Assistant City Attorney. With regard to this question, we had this project in mind primarily.
Sure.
There may be other projects that will come up in the future. Even new construction could be part of this. We wanted to leave the door open for those kinds of possibilities. It's also important, though, to note that we are leaving maintenance in here for LES. LES will continue to do the maintenance. And so we're only talking about the design to a certain extent, and then opening up the bids to other contractors for installation.
Sure, sure. No, thank you very much. I think it's interesting to perhaps leave that door open a little bit, so, thank you.
I have one question. This is an environmental question. I don't know what materials are in an LED bulb, how that's manufactured, but in 25 years, do we have an issue with when we have to replace these, what goes into the landfill? Is there mercury? Is there
Right.
toxic stuff that we
Yeah.
need to be having strategy?
Frank's our toxic man.
I know that.
Frank Ulrich, Sustainability Administrator in Mayor Beitler's office. The LEDs are toxic-free, as you may have some in the metal halides and high-pressure sodiums, you have trace metals and mercury, but the LEDs, for all practical
Clean?
purposes, are metal-free
Okay,
in terms of leachable constituents, so.
good.
You bet. Other environmental questions? John did such a great job. He's our new sustainability guru.
I think we're good. Any other questions at all?
No.
I think we're good, thanks.
Thank you.
Is there any other testimony in support of both of these items, applications? Okay. Is there testimony in opposition to either or both of these applications? I don't see any. Do we have staff questions? I don't see any, okay? You want to have rebuttal? You can have rebuttal if you want it. Okay. I think we're ready for a motion then.
Move approval, core.
And these need to be called separately, so this would be for the comprehensive plan conformance,
Move
18008.
Second, Joy.
Okay. Discussion?
Great project.
Yeah, great project. When there's no questions from up here, it's a great project, so.
I think this is a thoughtful step in the right direction and a cost savings as well.
The numbers make sense.
Yep.
You know you gotta hear that from the accountant.
Okay, I think we're ready to vote.
Okay, Beckius?
Yes.
Edgerton?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Joy?
Yes.
Core?
Yes.
Shear?
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
Okay, second motion.
This will be on text amendment 18005. Staff recommendation is for approval.
Move approval, Beckius.
Second, core.
Call the roll.
Okay, Beckius?
Yes.
Edgerton?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Joy?
Yes.
Core?
Yes.
Shear?
Yes,
Motion carried 7-0.
very good. Okay, this time anyone wishing to speak on an item not on the agenda may do so. Anyone wishing to speak? Okay, we are adjourned.